Today, I'm going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. A lot of people are picking the Lakers to win the NBA championship, arguably one of the best teams in the NBA. And in reality, they're a top 2 to 3 favorite to win this year's NBA title. But let me make myself very clear. This team will win about 47 to 53 games this year. That's the window I'm giving them. I believe their ceiling is a second round exit, the Western Conference semifinals. Yes, I said it. Let me explain. Now I'm going to talk about the Lakers' big three. In reality, it's a big two, but we'll call it a big three. On the bright side, Anthony Davis. If this team wants to be successful, Anthony Davis needs to be the driving force of this team. He needs to be their leading scorer, and I still believe he's their most efficient scorer. We know he dominates the PER stat. I think he needs to do that this year. If this team wants to be successful at the top of the Western Conference, I think AD needs to give you about 27, 28 a game and 10 rebounds, which he is more than capable of. And we saw a glimpse of the greatness that this guy could display Tuesday night against the Warriors, giving you 33 and 11. I mean, he beat them inside from the mid-range, the post fadeaway. He's flashed the three ball a little bit. I mean, AD is a monster. He is a top 5 to top 10 talent in this league. We cannot forget that. And a lot of people forget how great he was from the injury bug he dealt with last year, only playing 36 games. Gave you shy of 22 points per game. But I believe a healthy AD will be the best player on this Lakers team when it's all said and done. And they need him to be the best player on this team. Now, let me go to LeBron James. As great as LeBron played, he was magnificent Tuesday night, giving you 34 points, hit 5 3-pointers. His jump shot was the hottest I have seen since probably the 2018 playoffs, in 2 games in particular. Game 1 of the 2018 finals when he gave you 51-8-8 against Golden State, and then game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Raptors, where he gave you 43, 14, and 8, and hit about 6 or 7 post fadeaway jumpers in a row in the fourth quarter against Toronto. The other night against the Warriors, that was probably the hottest hand I've seen him had since those 2 games. I thought he was that magnificent. But why I am very concerned with a performance like that. First and foremost, we know LeBron is a very streaky shooter, and it's not going to be consistent. The way he shot the ball Tuesday night is not going to be sustainable. That's not going to be consistent, and he can't depend on that this late in his career. He's not going to be able to shoot the lights out like that. That's going to happen time to time. I mean, he looked great. He got to his spots. He shot with conviction. When he shoots with conviction, he's a pretty good shooter. Not a great shooter, but I'll give him a good shooter. Here's where I'm concerned. Look how LeBron has made his name of his greatness, the greatest player of this generation. It's his ability to pass. He's the best playmaker of this generation, one of the best passers of all time, right? Which he still has that. I also call him the best passer in basketball. He did not lose that. Here's the big concern, though. LeBron cannot get to the rim at will like he has for the past 17 and a half years, because after last year, he really wasn't the same when he hurt his ankle. LeBron can't get to the rim anymore. He cannot take a guy off the dribble, have a blow by. He cannot barrel through the lane like he used to. He's simply not the locomotive that he used to be. And that's okay. That's not a knock on him. Father time is creeping up on him. Sure, he's still a great player, but there's many moments in Tuesday night's game where we saw he was going through the lane and he did not go and finish. He's deciding to kick it out. Out of 13 field goals that he made Tuesday night, 12 were jump shots or the post fadeaway. He had 1 dunk. He had no layups. That's it. That's not LeBron. LeBron barrels through anyone. He could take you off the dribble. He could straight barrel through you and out-strengthen you, or he's a locomotive on the fast break going downhill, which we saw none of. If LeBron can't do that, he's probably going to be in the 21 to 22 points per game range this year. That's where I'm going to predict him to be. That's where I'm going to predict him to be, because I really don't think he can get to the rim anymore. And that's going to be a problem for the Lakers. If this team wants to be a championship caliber team, LeBron's going to need to be able to be an elite scorer. He's going to need to average about 25 points per game. He's going to need to be able to attack the rim at will, which I just don't think he has anymore. That's my concerns about LeBron. But the biggest concern, and why this team is really going to be a second round exit, Russell Westbrook. Let me be very clear. The best scenario for Russell Westbrook, he's at the point in his career, I generally believe the Lakers should release him, and Russell Westbrook should retire. Russell Westbrook should retire. He makes every single team worse he's on. He brings absolutely nothing. Oh, the triple doubles. The teams win about 70% of the games when Westbrook has a triple double. Stop it. I do not want to hear it. Sure, he could attack the rim. He's a decent playmaker. Why do the Lakers need that when you have LeBron and they brought back Rajon Rondo? So why would the Lakers really need that? But what does Russell Westbrook actually bring to the table? A low basketball IQ, makes very poor decisions with the ball in his hand, a turnover machine, and a high volume shooter and a low efficient scorer. So what is he really bringing to this team? What is he bringing to this team? The worst offseason acquisition the Lakers could have made, they made, and that was acquire Russell Westbrook. That's acquiring Russell Westbrook. Really? If my life is on the line and I had one shot to depend on it, the very last thing I would probably want my life to depend on is a Russell Westbrook pull-up mid-range. I think that is one of the worst, and I mean worst shots in basketball, a Russell Westbrook pull-up mid-range. I think it's that bad. He was god-awful Tuesday night. And I think that is going to be a thing that goes on through the totality of this entire season. The less Russell Westbrook's on the floor, the less he plays, the less the ball is in his hands, and the less shots he takes is how the Lakers will be successful this year. But he cannot average a triple-double this year if the Lakers want to be good. The Lakers want to be good. I think Russell Westbrook should be in the 10 to 15 points per game because all he's doing, being a high-volume, low-efficient scorer, is taking shots away from Anthony Davis, who's their most efficient scorer, and taking shots away from LeBron, which is not helping this ball club. So I really cannot grasp one aspect that Russell Westbrook brings to this team that's actually going to help them. That's why the Lakers are no better than a 47-53 win team. And that's why I believe they're a second round exit. But that's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you for watching the Falco Takeaway as always. Please let me know in the comment section below, what do you think the Lakers are going to be this year? And if you haven't already, make sure you follow the Falco Takeaway on Instagram and YouTube for more of my content.